Hello and welcome to Game of Box Office. Today's analysis is about The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King was released on December 17th, 2003 in 3,703 cinemas and ran a total of 170 days. The movie was produced by New Line Cinema with a budget of $94 million and received a PG-13 rating. On its opening weekend, it made $72.6 million in the USA and Canada and finished its run at $377.8 million total. Overseas, it made $742 million, resulting in a combined total of $1.1 billion. The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is the final part of the widely successful Lord of the Rings trilogy. Both preceding movies, The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers, have increasingly built up the hype about the franchise and created a quality standard in the fantasy genre, which in many ways is still the measure of all things to this day. When The Return of the King was released, the entire world of cinema was hyped. The completion of the trilogy had been longed for like no other, and the critics and audiences around the world considered it to be the best possible outcome. The reviews were incredible across the board and the audience loved the movie. If you follow our channel, you might perhaps be surprised, because the opening weekend numbers don't seem to be as high as you might expect. But The Return of the King, like every other Middle-earth movie, was released around Christmas, and as we mentioned in our The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey analysis, movies open lower in winter and have a steady and long one through the holidays and vacations, and those a higher multiplier value. In addition, The Return of the King was released in the same fashion as the previous two Lord of the Rings movies, on a Wednesday. This kind of release is rarely seen nowadays. However, there were a few blockbusters like the first Transformers in 2007 on a Tuesday and Star Wars: The Revenge of the Sith on a Thursday that had unconventional release dates. Having the movie released 2 whole days before the weekend definitely lowered its opening weekend revenue. Had The Return of the King started on a Friday, it is safe to assume that the opening weekend would have been slightly above $108 million and almost certainly higher than the former opening weekend record of Spider-Man of $114.8 million. For a December release, that would be outstanding. The movie broke the December opening weekend record in 2003, and had it been released on a Friday, it probably would have beaten the all-time record as well. The incredible final sum of $1.12 billion made The Return of the King the second most successful movie of all time behind Titanic, and just the second movie to ever reach the $1 billion mark. It even defended the second place 6 years until Avatar came out. Also, it took another 3 years for Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest to be the third movie to ever make more than $1 billion worldwide. And the records don't stop there. The release day of The Return of the King was, at that time, the most successful Wednesday in box office history. The overseas revenue of $742 million was the second highest ever, again just behind Titanic. The multiplier of 5.2 is really impressive, even for a movie of this size. Of course, that is partly owed to the incredible 11 Oscar nominations and 11 Oscar wins, and the resulting extended cinema release. In addition, The Return of the King did not have a drop of over 50%, making it even more impressive. So what can be said in conclusion about The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King? Every single detail in the box office run of The Return of the King is outstanding. Today, the movie is still 12th placed all-time worldwide and ranks 25th all-time in the USA and Canada. If we were to adjust the ticket prices by today's standards and add 3D fees to the movie, it would stand at $596 million in the USA and Canada and $1.132 billion overseas. This would still place The Return of the King third most successful movie of all time, with $1.728 billion. Taking all those achievements into account, the Game of Box Office team rates the movie with the rare grade A. Our upcoming video will be an analysis about Kingdom of Heaven, Slumdog Millionaire, or a profile about J.J. Abrams. We hope you enjoyed this analysis. Be sure to hit a like and subscribe to our channel. You can also support us on the social networks listed below. See you soon, bye bye.